So turns out my daughter is actually a baddie. My sister-in-law makes me understand why men hate women. I first met her at my wedding reception, and her gift was a weight loss supplement along with a gift card to my local gym. She insisted on handing it to me in person instead of putting it down on the table. "This is for your well, you know," she proudly exclaimed before pinching my stomach. "Thank me later." Well, my husband had already warned me about her and told me that she was pretty horrible to every girl she met, so no matter what she says, I shouldn't be surprised. But in the weeks after the wedding, she kept spamming me with photos of her vegan meals on WhatsApp, along with a paragraph of the benefits of cutting out meat. At first, I would reply saying I appreciate the advice, but I was going to continue to be an omnivore. That's when her messages took a turn. "Oh, okay, so you just love culling animals, huh? I hope your future daughter enjoys being birthed by a murderer." By that point, even my husband supported my decision in blocking her number. Fast forward to 6 years later, our baby Lucy was born, and we'd been shielding her from my SIL, but it was my MIL's 85th birthday, and she was hosting a barbecue for the entire family. Quite frankly, me and my husband figured that it might be one of her last birthdays, so we decided to go and introduce Lucy to everyone. I was hoping my SIL wouldn't be there since it was a literal barbecue, but of course she showed up with an "I love being vegan" t-shirt. When Lucy ran over and begged to be lifted up, I watched her like a hawk. Luckily, she did lift her up, and they played with her Lorax soft plushie that she brought everywhere with her. Lucy was quiet as usual, but there wasn't a single person there who didn't receive at least one hug from her. And to avoid my SIL, who was criticizing me and my MIL for eating victims who had been helplessly unalived, I tried to spend the day with Lucy, and we made daisy chains in the front garden together. And after an hour after we finally threaded together a daisy chain tiara, my SEL came over to me and started screaming. I felt my face become wet with her saliva. "You effing heartless bitch, how could you have carelessly ripped those souls out of the soil like that?" She was then interrupted by my MIL dragging her inside the house. I watched as they did breathing exercises, and was just grateful that the rest of my husband's family was sane. When the food was done, we all gathered around the table outside. The entire garden was filled with laughter and cheerful chatter, with our only problem being a few mosquitoes that kept landing on our arms. Well, that, and my SL. Whenever any of us tried to swat them away, she would launch into a speech about how even mosquitoes deserve to live. And I guess she noticed all of us ignoring her, because when I went to slap the one on my arm, she grabbed my wrist so hard I thought it would leave a bruise. Those are living beings. They're just trying to survive. And whenever I went to put food in my mouth, she would say something like, "Fat and heartless. Pick a struggle. I'm literally a size US2 BTW." And when she saw Lucy on the other side of me eating steak, she said, "This is what happens when Kaylers raise children. They teach them violence." That's when Lucy, who was only 6 and hadn't said more than hello, looked up and said in her tiny voice, "Auntie, why do you care so much about mosquitoes and animals but you're so mean to mommy?" There was radio silence. My husband's mouth was gaping open, but Lucy wasn't done. She had that look kids get when they're on a roll with what they think is just interesting information. "You said mosquitoes and animals have families and feelings. Doesn't mommy have feelings too?" My FIL tried to interrupt with something about checking on the pie, but Lucy had found her momentum. "My teacher says people who are mean to other people but nice to animals are just pretending to be good. Is that why everyone secretly hates you?" My husband stopped chewing. I froze up, trying my best not to burst out laughing. My SEL tried to recover, but it was over. My beautiful daughter had won. Lucy calmly went back to eating like she hadn't just delivered the most brutal takedown in family history. The rest of lunch, perfectly peaceful, until the next day. Because when I went to pick Lucy up at school, I couldn't find her anywhere. And when I asked her class teacher, she told me her aunt had already come to collect her. I asked her teacher if she said anything else, and that's when her voice turned high-pitched, as if she was extremely confused. "Yeah, she said she didn't want Lucy to be raised by Kellers anymore," or something like that anyway. I pinched the bridge of my nose. Full story on channel, link below.